There comes a moment in every human life when the weight becomes unbearable, when the accumulated disappointments, the repeated failures, the relentless pressure of circumstances pushes you to a point where you can barely function. You wake up, and the heaviness is already there, pressing on your chest, making even the simplest tasks feel impossible. You look at your life and see only problems with no solutions, obstacles with no paths around them, darkness with no visible light. This is not weakness. This is not failure. This is the precise moment when quantum change becomes possible, when the old identity has been worn down enough that something genuinely new can emerge. Most people do not understand that their darkest moments are actually portals. They experience sadness and weakness as purely negative states to be escaped as quickly as possible. They reach for distractions, for temporary relief, for anything that will numb the pain and restore the illusion of control. But these strategies simply delay the inevitable. They push the transformation back into the future. The sadness you feel is not random. The weakness you experience is not punishment. These states are messengers carrying critical information about the gap between who you have been trying to be and who you actually are. They arise when the false self, the constructed identity built from other people's expectations and your own unexamined beliefs, finally exhausts itself and can no longer maintain the performance. This exhaustion is sacred. This collapse is necessary. You cannot build a new structure on a faulty foundation. The old identity must break down before the authentic self can emerge. The quantum field operates on the principle of discontinuous change. In classical physics, change is gradual and continuous. You move from point A to point B through all the intermediate points. But at the quantum level, change is instantaneous. An electron does not gradually move from one energy level to another. It disappears from one level and instantaneously appears at the higher level without existing in between. This is called a quantum leap. Your consciousness operates on the same principle. Transformation does not require years of slow progress. It requires the collapse of the old pattern and the instantaneous emergence of a new one. When you are sad and weak, you are in the ideal state for quantum change because you have reached the point where the old pattern can no longer sustain itself. The identity you have been defending, the strategies you have been using, the beliefs you have been holding, all of it has brought you to this moment of collapse. This is the evidence that those patterns do not serve your highest evolution. The sadness is the signal that you are living out of alignment with your true nature. The weakness is the message that you have been trying to be strong in ways that drain you rather than ways that replenish you. These feelings are not your enemies. They are the quantum field communicating with you in the only language that can penetrate the defensive structures of the ego through breakdown. The first step in making your quantum change is to stop resisting the sadness and weakness. Stop telling yourself you should not feel this way. Stop comparing yourself to others who seem to have it together. Stop judging yourself for being in this state. The resistance to what is creates a secondary layer of suffering on top of the primary pain. The primary pain is simply energy moving through your system, information being processed, old patterns being released. The secondary suffering is the story you tell yourself about what this pain means, the judgments you layer on top of the raw experience. You can eliminate the secondary suffering immediately by accepting completely what is present right now. Acceptance does not mean resignation. Acceptance means acknowledging reality as it is in this moment without adding resistance. You are sad. You are weak. These are facts of your current experience. Fighting these facts wastes the energy you need to transform them. When you stop fighting and simply allow yourself to feel fully what you are feeling, something remarkable happens. The feelings begin to move. Emotion is energy in motion. When you resist emotion, you trap the energy. When you allow emotion, the energy flows through you and dissipates naturally. The sadness that felt permanent begins to shift. The weakness that seemed absolute begins to reveal spaces of strength you had not noticed because you were too busy fighting the weakness. As you allow the feelings to flow, you create space for new awareness to emerge. In the gaps between the waves of sadness, in the moments when the weakness softens, you begin to sense something underneath the emotional turmoil. This something is your essential nature, the consciousness that exists independent of your circumstances, the awareness that can observe your thoughts and feelings without being consumed by them. This awareness has been present your entire life, but it has been obscured by the constant activity of the thinking mind and the turbulence of emotional reactivity. The breakdown you are experiencing has cleared away enough of the noise that the awareness can begin to reveal itself. This awareness is what you actually are, not the story of your life, not your achievements or failures, not your relationships or your possessions, not even your body or your thoughts. You are the awareness in which all of these experiences arise and pass away. This awareness is not sad, it is not weak, it is not strong either. It exists beyond the pairs of opposites that dominate human experience. It simply is. And when you begin to identify with this awareness, rather than with the constantly changing content of your experience, you access a stability that does not depend on external circumstances. This is the foundation of quantum change. From this foundation of aware presence, you can begin to examine the beliefs that created the reality you are now suffering within. Every external circumstance in your life is a reflection of an internal belief. If you are experiencing lack, there is a belief about scarcity running beneath your conscious awareness. If you are experiencing rejection, there is a belief about unworthiness operating in your subconscious. If you are experiencing powerlessness, there is a belief that you are a victim of forces beyond your control. These beliefs are not truth. They are programs installed during your early development, adopted from your culture, reinforced through repetition until they became the invisible lens through which you perceive and create your reality. The quantum field is neutral. It does not judge your beliefs as good or bad. It simply reflects them back to you as circumstances. If you believe life is hard, the field arranges circumstances that confirm life is hard. If you believe you are unlovable, the field brings you people who treat you as unlovable. If you believe success is only for other people, the field ensures your efforts lead to failure. This is not punishment. This is the precise mechanism through which consciousness creates reality. Your beliefs determine your perceptions. Your perceptions determine your emotions. Your emotions determine your actions. Your actions determine your results. Your results confirm your beliefs. This is the closed loop that maintains your current reality, even when that reality causes tremendous suffering. Breaking this loop requires identifying the core belief driving your suffering and consciously installing a new belief to replace it. This is not done through positive thinking or affirmations, repeated without genuine feeling. The subconscious mind, where these beliefs are stored, does not respond to words alone. It responds to experience, to emotion, to repetition in altered states of consciousness. You must access the same state in which the original belief was installed, the theta brainwave state of deep relaxation and heightened suggestibility. And in that state, you must create a new experience that contradicts the old belief. The practice begins by entering a state of deep relaxation. You find a quiet space where you will not be disturbed. You sit or lie in a comfortable position. You slow your breathing to a rhythm that signals safety to your nervous system. 6 seconds in, 6 seconds out, allowing each exhale to release more tension from your body. As your body relaxes, your brain waves naturally slow from beta, the frequency of active thinking, down through alpha, the state of calm awareness, into theta, the realm where subconscious programming becomes accessible. You will know you have reached theta when your body feels very heavy or very light, when the boundary between you and your surroundings becomes less distinct, when thoughts slow down and become dreamlike. In this theta state, you do not simply repeat a new belief as a verbal statement. You construct a full sensory experience of the new belief as if it is already true. If you are replacing a belief of unworthiness with a belief of inherent worthiness, you do not think the words, "I am worthy." You generate the feeling of worthiness in your body. You imagine scenarios where your worthiness is recognized and celebrated. You see it, feel it, hear it, taste it. You make it so vivid and emotionally rich in your internal experience that your subconscious cannot distinguish it from actual memory. The subconscious does not differentiate between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. Both create neural pathways. Both install programming. Both shape your future perceptions and behaviors. You repeat this process daily, spending 15 to 30 minutes in the theta state, living the experience of your new belief with full emotional engagement. At first, the old belief will resist, doubt will arise, the critical mind will object. This is normal. The old program is defending itself. You simply notice the resistance without fighting it and return to the imagined experience of the new belief. Over days and weeks, the new neural pathways strengthen. The new belief begins to feel more natural. The old belief loses its automatic power. And as the internal programming shifts, your external reality must shift to match it, because the quantum field always reflects your dominant vibration. While you are doing this deeper subconscious work, you must also change your relationship with your daily experience. You have been observing your life through the lens of lack, noticing everything that is wrong, rehearsing your complaints, collecting evidence that life is difficult. This observation pattern strengthens the very reality you want to escape. The quantum field responds to where you place your attention. Every moment you spend observing your problems gives those problems more energy, more solidity, more permanence. Every moment you spend observing possibility, gratitude, and the small victories hidden within the struggle shifts your vibration toward a frequency that attracts better circumstances. This is not about denying your genuine pain or pretending everything is fine when it is not. This is about recognizing that your attention is creative power, and you have been using that power to reinforce the reality that makes you sad and weak. You can use that same power differently. You can train yourself to notice what is working even in the midst of what is not working. The fact that you are breathing means your body is working. The fact that you can read these words means you have access to knowledge. The fact that you are still here despite the sadness and weakness means you possess more resilience than you have been acknowledging. These observations might seem small, but they shift your vibration incrementally in the direction of appreciation. And appreciation is a frequency that opens you to receiving more to appreciate. As you practice observing differently and reprogramming your subconscious beliefs, you must also learn to use your current emotional state as fuel for transformation rather than evidence of failure. The sadness you feel contains tremendous energy. Emotion is not weakness. Emotion is power in raw form. Most people either suppress their emotions, trapping the energy inside, or express them reactively, spraying the energy outward without direction. Neither approach transforms the energy into something useful, but you can learn to channel emotional energy deliberately toward the reality you are creating. When sadness arises, instead of trying to stop it or distract yourself from it, you allow yourself to feel it fully while simultaneously holding the vision of your desired reality. You let the sadness move through you as pure energy, and you direct that energy toward the collapse of the probability wave that contains your transformation. This sounds abstract, but in practice it is simple. You sit with the sadness, you breathe into it, you let it intensify, and at the peak of the emotional wave, you visualize yourself already living the reality you are creating. You see it, you feel it, you claim it. The intensity of the emotion gives power to the visualization. The visualization gives direction to the emotion. Together, they create a signal so strong that the quantum field must respond. The same principle applies to the weakness you feel. Weakness is not the absence of strength. Weakness is simply strength that has been directed toward unsustainable patterns until it exhausted itself. You have been strong in ways that depleted you. You have been trying to force outcomes through sheer willpower. You have been holding everything together through constant effort. This kind of strength eventually collapses because it works against the natural flow rather than with it. The weakness you feel now is your system's way of saying, stop trying to control everything through effort. There is a different kind of strength available to you, one that comes from alignment rather than force. This aligned strength emerges when you learn to surrender. Surrender is not giving up. Surrender is releasing the need to control how and when your transformation occurs. It is trusting that the quantum field contains intelligence far beyond your individual capacity to strategize and plan. It is recognizing that you do not need to figure everything out. You only need to maintain your vibration at the frequency of your desired reality and allow the field to arrange the circumstances, opportunities, and synchronicities that will bring that reality into manifestation. This surrender paradoxically gives you access to more power than you have ever experienced, because you stop working alone through personal effort and start working in partnership with the infinite creative intelligence of the quantum field itself. The quantum change you are seeking is not about becoming a different person. It is about releasing the false person you have been trying to be and allowing your authentic nature to emerge. That authentic nature is already whole. It is already powerful. It is already creative and intelligent and worthy. You have simply been covering it over with layers of conditioning, with beliefs about who you should be, with strategies designed to keep you safe that actually keep you small. The sadness and weakness you feel are the final stages of those false layers dissolving. You are not falling apart. You are falling together into the configuration you were always meant to inhabit. As the old identity dissolves and the new one emerges, you will likely experience disorientation. The familiar reference points are gone. The old stories no longer fit. The people who knew you as the old version may not recognize or support the new version. This disorientation is temporary, but it can be intense. You ground yourself through practices that connect you to the present moment. You breathe. You feel your body. You notice your surroundings. You remind yourself that you are safe even though everything feels unfamiliar. The unfamiliar is not dangerous. The unfamiliar is simply new. And new is exactly what you have been asking for, even if the actual experience of newness feels uncomfortable. During this transition period, it is essential to protect your energy from influences that would pull you back into the old pattern. The people around you have been trained to expect you to be a certain way. When you begin to change, their expectations create a gravitational pull back toward the familiar version of you. Some will do this consciously, telling you that you are changing too much, that you are not being realistic, that you should accept your limitations. Others will do it unconsciously, simply by continuing to relate to you as if you are still the person you used to be. You cannot control their responses. You can only control your own commitment to the transformation. This may require creating distance from certain relationships, at least temporarily. It may require limiting your exposure to content, conversations, and environments that reinforce the old beliefs. It may require saying no to requests and expectations that you would have previously agreed to out of guilt or obligation. These boundaries are not selfish. These boundaries are essential protection for the new identity that is still fragile, still establishing itself, still vulnerable to being overwhelmed by the force of collective expectation. As the new identity becomes stronger and more stable, you will be able to re-engage with challenging relationships and environments without being pulled back into old patterns. But during the initial stages of quantum change, protection is wise. You will know the transformation is taking hold when you begin to notice changes in your automatic responses. A situation that would have previously triggered anxiety now generates curiosity. A person who would have intimidated you now seems simply human. An opportunity you would have dismissed as impossible now feels accessible. These shifts happen beneath your conscious effort. You are not trying to respond differently. You simply are responding differently because your subconscious programming has changed. The new beliefs have taken root. The new identity is becoming your default setting. As these internal shifts accumulate, your external reality begins to rearrange itself to match your new frequency. Opportunities appear that were invisible from your previous state. People who resonate with your new vibration enter your life. Obstacles that seemed immovable suddenly dissolve. Money begins to flow more easily. Health improves. Relationships either transform to match your evolution or naturally complete, making space for new connections that support your growth. None of this requires force or manipulation. It happens naturally as the quantum field reflects your changed internal state back to you as changed external circumstances. The timeline of this transformation varies by individual. For some, the shift is rapid and dramatic. Within weeks, their entire life looks different. For others, the change is more gradual, unfolding over months as layer after layer of old programming is replaced with empowering beliefs. The speed of transformation is not as important as the consistency of practice. You must show up daily to do the work of reprogramming your subconscious, redirecting your attention, and maintaining your vibration at the frequency of your desired reality. Miss a day here and there, and the old patterns will attempt to reassert themselves. Maintain consistency, and the new patterns become stronger than the old ones until they become permanent. Throughout this process, you must remain compassionate with yourself. You have been operating from limitation, not because you were weak or foolish, but because you were programmed that way before you had the capacity to question the programming. You did the best you could with the beliefs and resources available to you at each stage of your development. Now you have access to new understanding. Now you can make different choices. But this does not mean the old patterns will disappear without resistance. They will arise. You will have moments where you fall back into old ways of thinking and feeling. This is not failure. This is the normal fluctuation that occurs during any transition. You simply notice the old pattern, observe it without judgment, and consciously choose the new pattern instead. Each time you make this conscious choice, you strengthen the new neural pathway and weaken the old one. Over time, the new pattern becomes the automatic response. But the beginning stages require vigilance and patience. You are literally rewiring your brain, restructuring your identity, transforming your relationship with reality itself. This is profound work. This is sacred work. This deserves your respect and your patience. You are not trying to achieve perfection. You are committing to evolution. Every step forward, no matter how small, is progress. Every moment of awareness, no matter how brief, is victory. The sadness that brought you to this point of seeking quantum change will eventually transform into something else. Not into forced positivity or fake happiness, but into a deeper understanding of the human experience. You will recognize that sadness is not the enemy. Sadness is information. It tells you when you are out of alignment with your authentic nature. It signals when you are trying to live someone else's life or meet someone else's expectations. It reveals the gap between what is and what could be. Once you understand sadness this way, it loses its power to devastate you. It becomes a teacher rather than a tormentor. The same transformation occurs with weakness. You will come to understand that weakness is not the opposite of strength. Weakness is strength in transition. It is the necessary softening that occurs before a new and more sustainable form of strength emerges. The caterpillar must dissolve into liquid before it can reorganize as a butterfly. That liquid state looks like complete destruction from the outside, but from the inside, it is transformation. Your weakness is your liquefaction. Your new form is already beginning to organize within the apparent chaos. As you move through this quantum change, you may find yourself drawn to practices and modalities that support the transformation. Meditation deepens your access to aware presence. Breathwork moves trapped emotional energy. Movement practices reconnect you with your body. Energy healing clears blockages in your field. Sound frequencies like 741 Hz enhance cellular regeneration and mental clarity. These tools are valuable, but they are not the transformation itself. They are supports that make the transformation easier. The actual transformation happens in your consciousness, in the moment you genuinely understand that you are not a victim of reality, but the creator of reality through your observation and vibration. This understanding cannot be given to you by any external source. It must be discovered through direct experience. You can read these words. You can intellectually grasp the concepts. But until you have the lived experience of shifting your vibration and watching your reality shift in response, the knowledge remains theoretical. The practice is what converts theory into experience. The daily commitment to reprogramming your beliefs, redirecting your attention, and maintaining your frequency at the level of your desired reality is what produces the evidence that convinces you completely. Once you have created one quantum change through conscious application of these principles, you know beyond doubt that you are the creator of your experience. That knowing changes everything permanently. From that foundation of experiential knowing, you begin to live differently. You stop being tossed around by circumstances because you recognize that circumstances are effects, not causes. You stop giving your power to other people's opinions because you know that their opinions reflect their programming, not your worth. You stop waiting for permission or perfect conditions because you understand that you are the authority in your own life, and conditions shift to match your vibration, not the other way around. You stop tolerating situations that diminish you because you know you can create better ones. You stop settling for less than you desire because you recognize that desire itself is the quantum field communicating what is possible for you. This does not mean life becomes effortless or that challenges disappear. It means you relate to challenges from a completely different foundation. Instead of seeing obstacles as evidence of your powerlessness, you see them as opportunities to apply your creative power more consciously. Instead of feeling defeated by setbacks, you recognize them as feedback showing you where your vibration has slipped back into old patterns. Instead of fearing change, you embrace it as the natural expression of an evolving consciousness. The external circumstances of your life may still fluctuate, but your internal state remains stable because you know who you are and you know how reality operates. The quantum change that begins in your darkest moment of sadness and weakness has the potential to transform not only your individual life, but your impact on the collective field. When you change your frequency, you affect the frequency of everyone and everything around you. Your family members begin to shift. Your co-workers respond to you differently. Strangers in your vicinity feel the coherence you are broadcasting, even if they cannot name what they are sensing. You become a beneficial presence simply by maintaining your alignment with your authentic nature and your chosen reality. This is not about becoming important or special. This is about recognizing that every individual consciousness contributes to the collective field. And when you raise your frequency, you raise the frequency available to everyone. This is perhaps the deepest purpose of your sadness and weakness. It brought you to the breaking point where transformation became necessary. That transformation will ripple outward in ways you cannot predict or measure. The child who sees you living authentically may internalize that as permission to do the same. The colleague who witnesses your shift from victim to creator may begin questioning their own limiting beliefs. The stranger who feels the peace you are emanating may experience a moment of hope they desperately needed. You cannot know the full extent of your influence when you commit to quantum change. You only know that the change is necessary for your own evolution, and you trust that your evolution serves purposes beyond your individual benefit. So you stand at a choice point. You can remain in the sadness and weakness, allowing them to convince you that you are broken, that life is hopeless, that change is impossible. This is the path of continued suffering, of slow deterioration, of a life unlived. Or you can recognize these feelings as the doorway they actually are. You can choose to do the work of quantum change. You can commit to the daily practice of reprogramming your beliefs, redirecting your attention, and maintaining your vibration at the frequency of your desired reality. You can surrender the illusion of control and align with the infinite intelligence of the quantum field. You can trust that the sadness and weakness are not your destiny, but your initiation into genuine power. The choice is always yours. The quantum field does not impose. It does not judge. It simply responds to the frequency you broadcast. Broadcast sadness and weakness from unconscious habit, and it will reflect back more circumstances that generate those feelings. Broadcast the frequency of your chosen reality with conscious intention, and it will reflect back circumstances that match that reality. The field is absolutely neutral and absolutely responsive. It is the perfect mirror, waiting only for you to decide what you wish to see reflected. Make the decision now, not tomorrow, not when you feel better, not when circumstances improve. Now, while you are still in the sadness and weakness, while you are still at the breaking point. This is your power moment. This is when quantum change becomes possible. The old identity is already collapsing. The new identity is waiting to emerge. You need only to claim it. You need only to begin the practice. You need only to commit to your own transformation regardless of how long it takes or how uncomfortable it feels. Your life is waiting on the other side of this quantum change. A life where you know yourself as the creator rather than the victim. A life where you recognize challenges as opportunities rather than obstacles. A life where you trust the process rather than demanding specific outcomes. A life where you flow with the intelligence of the field rather than fighting against it. This life is not distant. This life is not reserved for other people. This life is a probability wave in the quantum field right now, waiting only for you to observe it into manifestation through your sustained attention and aligned emotion. Begin today. Enter the theta state and install a new belief. Redirect your attention from what is wrong to what is possible. Feel the emotion of your desired reality as if it is already true. Surrender the how and the when. Trust the field. Commit to the practice. Your quantum change is not about becoming someone new. It is about becoming who you actually are beneath all the conditioning and limiting beliefs. That authentic self is already whole, already powerful, already creative. It has been waiting for this moment when the false self finally exhausted itself and created the space for truth to emerge. Welcome home. Your quantum change begins now.